welcome back to another project of Try and Tested. So today I'm going to talk about Embedded Canvas app. Those of you who have watched my videos, some of you would have probably watched the video that I did on Embedded Canvas app half year ago. So at that point of time, Embedded Canvas app had just came out in public preview, and this time around, about a month and a half ago, it have gone GA, which means it's generally available to everyone, no longer on trial, officially there. You can use it. It's supported by Microsoft. Certain things have changed since the last time I've tested this. Actually, a lot have changed. They've added new features on it as well. So I thought I'll just do another video on this as an update from my previous one. But this time around, I'm going to break it down to a few parts. Part 1, we'll just do an introduction. We'll talk about what is Embedded Canvas app, how to surface them on the model-driven form, how to edit it, as well as how to change the size of the app that you're going to surface. Yep, that's one of the new cool stuff that you can do. Previously, you can't change the size of the Canvas app, and now you can. So let's get started. So maybe I'll just do a brief introduction on Canvas app. So for those of you who probably have not heard of or have not tried Embedded Canvas app, it just means building a Canvas app on Power Apps and surface them on the model-driven apps. So these give you more flexibility in and it's easier, like it's kind of speed up your development process, because you can actually build the stuff on Canvas app, connect it to connectors, build a camera that takes a photo, attach to attachment, things like that, and surface it on your model-driven app, which it could be a sales hub or maybe a service hub or something like that. Why do I say it kind of shorten the development time? Because as you know, Power Apps is a kind of like a no-code, low-code, rapid development software tool. So you can easily drag and drop, add connectors, write some formula instead of building plugins or custom workflows. So some of the examples that I can think of that you can use is maybe like taking a photo and directly attach it to notes. So you don't need to use a camera, take a photo, and then write some plugin and code to connect it and to maybe SharePoint or blob storage or whatever, and then surface it and then attach it back to Dynamics and store it in Dynamic Storage. What you can do is just create an app, have a connector to SharePoint, use Flow, convert the image to the correct format and store it in SharePoint, and maybe surface it back onto Dynamics, or maybe push it to Dynamic Storage using Flow as well. So these are one of the few things that you can do. Or maybe you can have a lead qualification process on your app. Instead of building one, you can have a dialogue that asks maybe the salesperson or whoever that's doing the qualification process a few questions, and you can do fancy cute animation stuff on it and surface it on your model-driven app. So that's one of the few things you can do, and I'm sure there's a million more possibilities that I've not mentioned here. Now next, let's get into embedded, how to do it, okay? How to just build the embedded Canvas app. So here I have, what I'm using is Sales Hub at the moment. So what I do is I'm just going to open up one of my account, and I want to build an embedded Canvas app and surface it on this account record over here. So in public preview, you can embed your Canvas app to both a field and a subgrid, but they have changed that now, so you only can embed it against a field, but it will grab the whole data set and you can manipulate it. This means you get more flexibility in manipulating the data. So here I want to embed it to my account name. What I first do is I gotta, of course, switch it back to classic view so that I can configure the form and configure this view. Just gonna go to advanced settings here. customization. If you have it in the solution, you can just open your solution, but I don't have it. This is my trial environment, so I'm just gonna open customization form. Just go to entities and open up my main form, my main account form. Here you go. And I'm gonna change on the properties of my account name. I'm gonna add a control. So one thing you have to remember is that the field that you use must be a mandatory field. It have to be a mandatory field or else it wouldn't work. I'll just add a section here maybe. Yep. So I'm just gonna put it right at the top so that we can easily see it without scrolling later on. So for this demo purpose, it's easier. I'm just gonna move my account name up here. Okay. So once you build once you embed the canvas app on this field will actually be hidden from the form. So what I recommend is if you still want to create account name or whatever, put the account name on your canvas app as well and maybe do a create from there. So account name, go to change properties, control, add control, and you see the canvas app, add it. So here you see you have, once you add a control canvas app, make sure you select to surface it on the web, because or else then you wonder why you don't see it despite you have created it. And here you have the entity name and the app ID. So the app ID is basically the canvas app ID. It will be automatically populated once you have built and saved the app. So don't worry about that for now. Just click customize and you open up the Power Apps form. So just do some background building your app kind of thing. So previously, for those of you who have used the preview version, you realize that when you create a canvas app from the model driven form, embedded canvas app, it will have a gallery. You will have a gallery embedded, but then now what you have is a form instead. And you will see that on the left hand side you have something called model driven form integration. This is kind of like the bridge that is passing the data across from your model driven app to your canvas app, vice versa. Now if you click on the form and you go to the items, you can obviously see the data source is accounts, because I actually surface it from accounts form. And if you go to item, you realize that there's this thing called model driven.item. So that's how the data got surfaced onto here. So if you look at this form, if you see it's all the accounts field. If you want to change the field, it's the same like creating a canvas app form. So you just need to add or remove the fields that you do not want to. Let's say I do not want the employee, I just remove it. If I want account name, I just move up to the top. Etc. But if you do not want to actually use this form, it's fine as well. You can remove it, add a gallery, or create your own custom control button, create your own connectors, create a camera or AI builder, whatever you want to do, like what you do in Canvas app. Just make sure that you're using this model, leveraging on this model driven form integration, so that you can pass the value, the data from whatever form you're surfacing from onto the Canvas app. So the next thing I want to show is the changing of the size of the form. So if you go to file, you go to advanced settings. So there's quite a number of settings here that, for all app builders, that you just come here and turn on and off whatever you need and don't need. I normally turn on the formula level management as well. And then I'll just go to screen size and orientation. Yep, here. So you can have your custom width and height. You can either select whatever defaults or configure what's the size that you want. So this is pretty good, I find, because the last time we have this problem where the app just goes really big on the form and then you can't do much about it and it could look really clunky and ugly at times. So now you kind of able to manipulate the size, but you still have to do a bit of trial and error because you might think out too small. I tried once and it became so small, or it's too big, and etc. So just play around with it and then you just get a hang of it. Another thing I want to show is you can't turn on the data source function. So improve data source experiments. So I normally turn this on because it allows you to filter based on the views that you have. So if you're gonna surface context, you can just select context view. So I like to turn this on. I find it's a very good feature because you do not need to filter it on Canvas app. You can pre-create it in Dynamics. But then for embedded, you can't turn it off. So you have to remove any existing CDS data before you can toggle this on. Obviously, I don't want to remove my data because I had it connected, hook up through the model-driven integration data. And I also tried to create a standalone one and then take the app ID and put it on the embedded app with this turn on, and it doesn't quite work because when I go back and I try to forcefully enter the data source onto the form, it just says this data source is not available. So you can't turn this on at the moment. And yep, the rest of it is just the basic stuff that I'll talk about probably in some other topics when we have touched that. So now I'm just gonna give this a name. So I'm just gonna call this maybe count app, simple one. And it's gonna save. So once I save and publish, you should be able to see the ID on my embedded Canvas form. If you do hear some whistling noise, that's just the wind. The weather seems to be pretty bad here today in Melbourne. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I have the form open and there you see the app ID is already populated. The next thing you gotta take note of is on the display, make sure that you turn this off, the display label on the form. Click OK, save, remember to publish, and also remember to publish the app. I think I'll publish the app again. I don't think I've published it just now. So while waiting for this, just gonna go back to my Canvas app here. Maybe I'll just modify this a bit as well. Remove annual revenue, and then I'll probably move up remove street. Okay, I'll move up street 2. It's not a big deal, it's not gonna affect anything. I just want it to look better, like it's not all over the place. Can't have the address 2 after zip code. It's a bit weird. Okay, alright, cool. So now let's come back here, save it, publish the app. So every time you want to edit, you just open up the view and then customize it. You'll come back to this form, edit it, save it, publish it. I always like to publish the form again, and then you're good to go and test it. So here we go. If I come back to accounts and reopen the form, fingers crossed, should appear. There you have it. Just takes time to load. Just getting your data. So the first time is always a bit slow, and there you go. You see all the account name, the city, and yeah, basically all the fields are there. Another thing is, remember to share your embedded Canvas app to all the users as well if you want. If not, it will not surface on their form. So that's all for my part 1 introduction. Next part, I will show you how to build a gallery. So I'm gonna connect it to a related data source, and then we're gonna look into all the actions that you can do, such as navigate to another form, save the form, open quick create, and etc. So any questions, please post on my comment below. And for those of you who tuning in for the first time, I've also created a blog called elaine.com, and I'll put down the short notes, things to remember, things to take note of when you do embedded Canvas app in that blog with this video as well. Thank you and have a nice weekend. Bye.